What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FM22 rebuild challenge. You guys loved last week's episode where we rebuilt Werder Bremen, but not only did we rebuild Werder Bremen from the Bundesliga 2, we did it using only German players. So I thought I'd set myself a challenge of dotting around some of the other major leagues in Europe and trying something similar and taking a team from the second division as far as I possibly can, using only players of that nationality. So with that being said, let's dive into things because we are the manager of Malaga. So guys, here we are at the start of this rebuild challenge. We are the manager of Malaga and we will only rebuild Malaga, signing Spanish players. Now, I will have to caveat this by saying, obviously in the squad already, we do have certain players of other nationalities. If that does continue, if they are already players here, so for instance, let's say someone who I can actually say, why have they all got really difficult names? Let's say Pablo here. Pablo is already a Malaga player. I can offer him a new contract if I want to because he's already a player at the club. However, any incoming players have to be Spanish. That is for transfers, that is for loans. I will only be signing Spanish players as we move forward. This is Malaga. You know, they are in the second division, as you can see here. They're a big club for the second division as well. There's some that you will recognize in here from the Spanish leagues, but I thought Malaga was an interesting opportunity for me. In terms of the season preview, they're 9-1 to win the league. They are expected to finish in and around 10th, so I think it's going to be a very, very interesting challenge. I don't necessarily think I will have it all my own way in that first season. Obviously, we've got 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 down here, Real Valladolid, and 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪 are the main three that I am kind of worried about. Leganés are another one that we are sort of looking at, and then Real Sociedad's B team. I can't believe that there's a B team in the second league is all I'm going to say. It just shows the powerhouse that is Real Sociedad. So this is how things start. In terms of finances and stuff, I have none. Overall balance is 3.6 million. One good thing about Malaga, though, they don't have any debt. So this could be quite interesting if we get ourselves up the leagues and somehow get ourselves into a European competition. I really do think that things could start progressing quite nicely. In terms of the club vision and what is expected of me, and let me go into the competitions, actually, that might be a bit easier. Yeah, so if we go into the competitions, they want me to reach the promotion playoff in the La Liga 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 and then reach the third round of the Copa del Rey, which I think is very achievable. I think is definitely doable. In terms of the tactic we're using for this one today, we are using the Fm22 Dynamite. The reason I use these tactics, guys, is because I want to give them another showcase. I've already done a video on this tactic on the channel already, so please do go and check that out. But I think ultimately we're in a very good position. We've got a very good team here to build and move things forward up the divisions. As I mentioned, though, we've got no money, and all that is expected of us is to reach this playoff, which I don't actually know what happens here. Okay, so the top two get promoted automatically, and then third through sixth go into the playoffs. So they want us to finish inside that top six, which I definitely think is possible. I will be back at the end of the season where hopefully we're at least in that playoff. So guys, we are back. It is the end of the season and we've gone up. And we've gone up automatically, which is fantastic. 94 points for us throughout the course of the season. As you can see on the competition screen here, we also reached the third round of the Copa del Rey, which is what was expected of us. And we've exceeded the board recommendation or expectation, sorry, in the league by topping the league. Did very, very well. We're 8 points clear of the team in second and quite a considerable way of this playoff, the top of the playoff. And a massive margin, 23 points away from the bottom of the playoff, which is what was expected of us. So, massive good season. This guy, Antonin, has scored boatloads of goals, but unfortunately, he is on loan. So, that could be a little bit of an issue. This squad, and if I go into my tactics screen, as you can see, I've got quite a few players on loan here, which are already sorted. I didn't do any transfers myself going into this, but as you can see, Danny Martin, Victor Gomez. So I've got my goalkeeper, my right back, my left back, my DM, and my top goal scorer all on loan. So that is a big issue. We're going to need to try and figure out how we go about doing this, but In terms of all the competitions and the La Liga Smart Bank, we've done very, very well, guys. We've got the second top goal scorer in the league. We've got 2 high average ratings. Guy with the most assists. Danny Martin's done very, very well in terms of clean sheets as well. So we will be playing La Liga football next season, which is massive. It's a very, very big chance for us to show what we can do. It's a bit of a statement here. So we've got 30 victories all throughout the course of the season. We've got 4 draws as well as 7 losses, but nobody's going to go unbeaten, are they? I wouldn't have thought. Overall, guys, I'm very, very happy with how first season's gone. So the club is in a little bit of debt now, about £1 million worth of debt, and I've got 4 million or 4.73 million transfer budget there. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I think it could be a little bit of a struggle, but we will be trying to sign as many free agents as possible. Anyone who's being released from a club, that sort of thing. One thing I will say about this save, it's bugged. As you can see here, my youth intake didn't happen. So no young Spanish players coming through Malaga in this particular instance, I guess. As you can see, it's already given me a candidate preview for next year. And this is the exact same candidate preview that I had for 2022. So a little bit worried about that there is a little bit of a bug here. But I will say, for any of you guys playing the game, I did this before SI introduced the latest patch. I played through all of this game before, or all of this save before the latest patch was released. So fingers crossed that has ironed out any kinks and you guys don't get this sort of thing in your games. So first objective, promotion back to La Liga. That's out of curiosity, who got relegated? 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, Mallorca and Granada. Okay, so maybe we can look at some of these players here, and maybe we could take some of them back, take some of them off of our opposition, I guess. They're not even in our division, you know what I mean. See if I can take some of the relegated players back into La Liga with me. But busy summer. I've only got 4.7 million to spend. Let's see what we can do. Right then, guys, let's talk transfer business. We've been a little bit busy in the transfer market, talking ahead of season 2. We've brought in Fran Valiba from Birmingham. They were on a free transfer. He comes in and joins the club, can play in quite a lot of positions. I like that versatility factor. I think that's going to be quite key for us. We paid Celta Vigo 1.4 million for Kevin. Here is Kevin. I think he looks like a solid right back option. Obviously, as I mentioned last season, we didn't own our own right back. The guy who played all season for us was on loan, so we needed to go out there and pick up our own right back. We also signed this right back as well, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚, who was leaving Levante at the time. So we've got a wealth of options in that position now, where last season they were all on loan. So we needed to go in and do that. One of the guys who was leaving is left on a free. Off he goes to Nantes in France. We also signed a few more players as well. I spent a little bit more money. John Batista, let's say, comes in. He was being let go, I believe. Was he being let go, or did we pay some money for him? We paid £1.8 million to Leganés, or Real Sociedad, sorry. We paid money to Real Sociedad for him. Was a decent goal scorer in the second division last season. I think as a striker, he's pretty well rounded to play up front for us. We also signed Paul Lozano, central midfielder, adding that a little bit more depth there. He's got a lot of promise around him. He's only 22 years of age, relatively decent mentally, okay physically, and he's okay technically where I need him to be. We've spent a little bit of cash on him, 185k on him to bring him in for to be our player. And then we spent 2.1 million on Sergio Herrera. I did try and keep the goalkeeper that we had last season. That didn't happen, so we went to Osasuna and bought their goalkeeper for 2.1 million, which we can't really complain about. He looks like a very solid goalkeeper, good reflexes, good one-on-ones, nice handling, decent positioning, nice mentals as well. He's not the fastest, but in terms of his physicals, but I think as a goalkeeper going into the La Liga season, I think we've done some good business. Now, in terms of the finances, I'm going to need to make this budget adjustment so that we aren't in debt each time. And that takes care of that. We are now 60k under, our wage budget, which is nice. And because of all the TV revenue, because La Liga is the second best league in Europe, we get a decent amount of TV revenue. So we've got 21.1 million in the bank, which is nice, which is very, very nice. In terms of competitions, we are only in 2 this season, the La Liga Santander and the Copa del Rey. Fight bravely against relegation is the expectation in the league, and then to reach the 4th round in the Spanish Cup. So if we go into the season preview, It's not looking pretty for us. We're 1,000 to 1 to win the league, which we're not going to win the league season 1. But ultimately, they think we're going to finish rock bottom. I disagree. I don't think we will finish rock bottom. I don't think we'll finish much higher than that, but I don't think we will be relegated this season. I'd like to think that we could do better than some of the other teams that were promoted as well. So fingers crossed we can kind of put that into action once the ball starts being kicked. In terms of pre-season though, we've played a few games. This second season in any FM save is an absolute nightmare because of the World Cup and this massive break here. So we start well early. We've played a few games in pre-season, beat Addons, beat Flamengo, drew with Athletic Bilbao, and then beat Porto going into this La Liga season. So fingers crossed, guys, we can avoid relegation in La Liga and we can stay here and start strengthening. I'll be back at the end of season 2. So that is another season in the books, and we have avoided relegation with Malaga in our first season back in the Spanish top flight. Getafe, Cadiz, and Real Valladolid, the teams, Real Valladolid were the team that came up with us. The other two, unfortunately, get relegated. We managed to survive relatively comfortably in the end. We had 41 points. The team that went down in 18th had 27, so relatively comfortable there. We picked up a decent number of wins, 10 wins on the season. We beat Atletico at home, which is quite a nice result. Villarreal at home, Real Betis at home, relatively strong at home, ropey on the road, and then naturally we lost to some of the big boys, both home and away. It's no real surprise there. So we do survive. We are in La Liga for season number 3, which is fantastic. Ultimately, this is all I could have asked for. Last weekend when we did Werder Bremen, we just about scraped it as well in season 2 in terms of staying up. Then we had a little bit of a resurgence because our reputation increased. We were able to bring in some players, so I'm hoping that is what we can do right here, right now. In terms of the other competitions, we were knocked out in the 3rd round of the Spanish Cup by Sevilla, which I can't remember what they said of it initially, but I assume they were all right with it because it was Sevilla that we lost to. Club balance doing a lot better now in terms of the finances. So 21, almost 22 million in the club balance. I've got 6.6 million here to spend, which is actually quite nice. I'm actually quite happy with that. And naturally, as I mentioned, we don't have any debts or loans, which is fantastic for a club like this in a rebuild, because usually I've got a massive amount of debt to deal with. But at the moment, I don't have that. Youth centre stuff still bugged, as I will say. Really unfortunate that we won't be able to get any of these players through. Hopefully that fixes itself out at some point during the save. So all in all, I think it's a very positive season. We have lots to build on going into season 3, and as I said, I've got 6.6 million to spend to strengthen this team. In terms of the squad and the squad depth, you can see we are a little bit ropey in a lot of positions. I quite like a striker, to be honest. A left midfielder would be quite nice as well, and I also think being able to hold on to this guy is kind of key now. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 looks like a very good player, had a very good season for us in La Liga as well, so I'm hoping he can stay, but I think a transfer offer will come in for him at some point. We are looking to strengthen in as many positions as we possibly can, but we'll have to see what season 3 brings. It's transfer time. I'll be back with that update in just a second. Okay then, guys, so we are kicking things off with a transfer update going into season 3 of this Malaga rebuild. We have spent some money and some of the business was done very quickly on the 1st of July, as you can see here. I tried to work quite quickly in that June-July period to make things happen. And the first signing we got is Tony Lato comes in from Valencia on a free transfer. He was getting really annoyed that he wasn't getting into the Valencia team. He's not Gaia, so I can understand why. So he wanted his release from the club, so we managed to pick him up on a free transfer. I think as a left back he looks very good, very happy with that. We also signed this guy 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 is how I'm going to say it. We needed a left winger. He can play on both sides. I think he gives us a little bit of versatility, a little bit of flexibility. Yes, he's not the best winger that we've got, but that versatility of being able to play on both sides is a real benefit for me. Vicente, that last guy came in for free. This guy also comes in for free as well. Can play a couple of different positions. Again, versatility and depth is key. When we have this first season where we consolidate in the league that we get promoted into, I really want to start trying to make things as good as possible. And this is one of the ways I go about doing it, is getting the depth in. These two, last three all joined for free. Then we paid some money to Levante for 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙕, is how I'm going to say this guy's name. Another central midfielder. Again, a decent level. Not brilliant, but not bad. I play 3 central midfielders in this 4-3-3, so having depth and someone who can cover all of those positions is exactly what I was looking for. So he comes in from Levante, and we paid £1.7 million for him, and he sort of bounced around the league and Portugal a little bit, but it looks like a good little option. And Dani Martin, now we managed to sign Dani Martin back from Real Betis. He has grown into a nice little goalkeeper since he was with us on loan. If we could have a look, when he was on loan for us in that first season, he did pretty well, 20 clean sheets in 40 appearances. He then went back and played the whole season for Real Betis in La Liga, and didn't have as good a season, so they wanted to get rid. We paid 2.8 million for him, and I think he is a little bit of a upgrade in terms of goalkeeper, which does mean we've moved Sergio 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 on. He has gone to Levante. He had a decent enough season with us last year. Where is it? La Liga. He only kept 9 clean sheets, but it is our first season back in La Liga. Did 6.95 on his average rating, having come in from Osasuna. So we've lost a little bit of money on him, but I think longer term, I think Martin is the option moving forward. I think he's just a better, well-rounded keeper. He's younger, he's faster, and he's exactly what I'm looking for in terms of a goalkeeper. Competitions wise, this is what is expected. Fight bravely against relegation again. Not really backing us in terms of the board with that. Thinking that we're going to do pretty poorly. Hopefully we start to climb the league table as the seasons go on, and then Copa del Rey reach that 3rd round. In terms of La Liga, let's have a look at the season preview. We are now 800 to 1, so we've dropped 200 to 1 out of our odds, which is nice. We were 1,000 last year, now we're 800 to 1, but we are still predicted to finish in 16th, so we will have to see there. Allegri is the new manager of Barca, and Antonio Conte is now the new manager of Villarreal, so very, very interesting combinations going on here. Let's just see where we can finish. We've strengthened. I'm quite happy with the squad and quite happy with how things are going. If we pick our best 11, you can kind of see the levels that we are at right now. I think the defense is relatively strong. I would like to sign another centre back. Whether or not we do that, I don't know. But we've got our own players now in right back, in left back. We built on that. Luis Munoz, the guy on the thumbnail, captain, he's doing very, very good things for us. Nice and consistent. You know, just ticking over good ratings from him. Almost a 7 last year in La Liga as a team that almost got relegated. Is pretty good. And then moving up the field, I think we have players who can make things happen. So fingers crossed for season number 3. I'll be back in a sec. Guys, I don't really know how to say this, but we've qualified for the Europa League. We finished in 6th in the season. We were knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey by Celta Vigo. But let's look at La Liga, because we have absolutely smashed it in comparison to where people expected us to be. They said that we would finish in 16th. We've knocked 10 places off of that. We've come in 6th, and we've secured ourselves Europa League football. Obviously, there are some big clubs in here that haven't really performed. Atletico finishing below us. Valencia again. Betis have a real good youth system. Villarreal again, probably underperforming. Is Antonio Conte still the manager? No, they've sacked him and got Ronald Koeman. Interesting. We've done very, very well though, guys. 22 victories throughout the course of the season, 5 draws and 11 losses. You know, losses in there against the usual suspects: Real Madrid, Atleti, Barca, Real Sociedad. You know, like they're to be expected. These are the powerhouses of Spain. But because of where we are in the league, we've qualified for the Europa League alongside Granada, which is also very interesting. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be good to see how we get on in that European competition next season. I actually do think it will be a detriment to us, like it was last week when we did where we did Werder Bremen. Sorry. As you can see, they're very happy with how we're doing. They're delighted that I'm developing players using the club's youth system, but it's still bugged. So I have no idea why they're saying that. The number of players and stuff that we're getting seems to be changing around a decent amount, but as you can see, this is a youth preview for 2025. So very disappointed with the potential bug in this game, but we move. A very good season, ultimately. Big John getting us 19 goals in the league. I think he did pretty well. 29 goals in 39 appearances for us, which is pretty good, especially considering he doesn't enjoy big matches. Going into season number 4, I've got 16 million to spend now. We are in the Europa League. The club balance doing very, very nicely. As you can see, since I've been in charge, it goes up in a nice increment every season, which is fantastic. 34 million in the club bank balance, and then obviously 16.78 million to spend on transfers, and spend it I shall. Going into season 4, I'm banged on about having depth last time out. We're going to need even more if we're going to be in European competitions, playing on a Thursday night and then at the weekend in La Liga. So let's go spend some money. Transfer update for season 4, and I have to update you on something because I completely missed it. It happened where I was simulating through. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 is now a Manchester United player. I did not notice that this happened. But he must have had a minimum fee release clause in his contract, and he has gone for 10.5 million to Manchester United. That happened in January last season. I was not aware until that's where all the money come from. Basically, I was like, I wonder why they've given us so much money. That's why. So we went out and spent some of it. And as you can see, here we go. These are some of the players that we've signed. We signed this guy, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 from Barcelona's B team. He was being released by Barca. Again, it's just, I'm just banging that same drum, guys. He's depth. Loads of people who can play this position. This formation has 3 central midfielders in it, so we need players who can play in these positions, banging it on. Again, we needed a striker. I went out and signed Mariano. From Inter. He is obviously the former Real Madrid striker, and I think he's got everything that I look for in a striker. He's got good finishing, decent enough first touch, he can head the ball, decent technique, he's brave, he's determined, his good work rate. So I think he could be a good goal scorer for us in La Liga this season. And then we also signed this guy here for 2.3 million, centre back 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, to replace the man outgoing who went to Manchester United and I didn't even realise, which is good. And we also signed Sergio Lopez from Basel, another right back. It feels like we're getting loads of right backs. It really does. Again, is these depth options. You can play as right wing back, you can play as left back. Just having that option there is great. We also sold 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. He was a right back, that's why we brought in another one. He has gone to Barcelona. I wish him all the best at Barca. He did pretty well for us last season. It's going to be a shame to let him go. 25 games in La Liga, 7.18 rating, but 16 million to Barca was too good for me to turn down, so we had to let him go. I spent a decent amount of the budget, but we are sat in good shape with 50 million now in our bank balance, which is fantastic. Obviously, we have the 3 competitions this season, as we are in the Europa League. We do enter in the group stage because of the league ranking of La Liga being 2nd highest in Europe. I'm not expecting anything here. If we can't see a preview of this, but Europa League is going to be an interesting one. La Liga, we are expected to avoid a relegation battle. If we have a look at the season preview, we are climbing slowly, 450 to 1 to win the league, despite finishing in 6th last season. They're still not really rating our chances in terms of La Liga, but we are all here to prove people wrong. So this is season 4. I think the Europa League is actually really going to damage us in terms of our league position, but we will see at the end of the season. I'll be back in a sec, guys. End of season 4, guys, and we have done exceptionally well. Not only have we powered on and finished higher up the league than anticipated, we finished 3rd in the league. We were knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Europa League by Leeds United, and were knocked out in the 4th round of the Spanish Cup by Real Sociedad. We finished 3rd in the league. We have Champions League football coming to Malaga again, which is very, very nice to see. I can't believe it, to be perfectly honest. 21 victories, 4 draws, and 13 losses. I actually think did we get less points than we did last season? Got 67 we got 71 points last season and finished 6th. Some teams have really dropped off this year, and we somehow managed to sneak in there. It's quite tight at the top with the 67, 66 for Atleti. Champions League, why not? I can't believe, we're miles, don't get me wrong, we're miles behind Barca and Real, miles behind Barcelona and Real Madrid, but Champions League football, that's unreal, isn't it? And then let's have a look at the Europa League. So we got knocked out in the quarterfinals on penalties by Leeds United after 2 0-0 draws. Who missed the penalty? Jesse Lingard missed the penalty for Leeds, and Quintana and Lopez missed penalties for us, which is very disappointing. But ultimately, quarterfinals is probably a little bit too far. Just out of curiosity, who won this? Young Boys beat Arsenal on penalties. Wow. Okay. I think this is a fantastic season. Mariano doing God's work, scoring the goals, firing us through 25 goals in 46 appearances in all competitions. Very, very pleased with him. And ultimately, guys, I still can't believe we finished this high up the league. So we've got, for season number 5, we've got Champions League football. Does that mean I've got loads of money? Not loads, but money. 14.8 million to spend as we go into the Champions League season. Obviously, we're going to get a boost from being in the Champions League group stage. We're going to get a boost from the La Liga TV revenue. So fingers crossed we can spend a lot of money and have one real crack at it in season number 5. But I think Champions League is going to be a little bit too tough for us. I'll be back in a second. So guys, just the one transfer to update you guys about. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 comes in as a centre-back / left-back. He can kind of play both. I brought him in for his tackling and his passing and his positioning. I think he could be a nice little option for us. He comes in on a free transfer, having left Celta Vigo. In terms of everything else, guys, you saw us bring in Sergio Lopez. That was last season. Paul Lozano has gone. He was getting upset, so we sold him for 4.3 million, and Vicente has also gone out on loan. Ultimately, this team hasn't really changed much from last season. If we quick pick our best 11 super fast, this is kind of how we're looking going into the season. Danny Martin, Lopez, Munoz, Copete, Latao, Aureliana, Shaw, Pepe Lu, Enriquez, Paulino, Romero, and Marinaro up front. The O's dominating my attacking line. The squad doesn't look very deep, but we are pulling in people left, right, and centre to sort of adhere to this. In terms of all competitions, we're in the Champions League. Don't forget that. We're also in the Super Cup as well, because we finished in the top 4. Not expecting that to go very well. The board expectation for us now in La Liga is to finish mid-table. If we have a look at the stages and the season preview, how are they expecting us to finish? 14th. 200 to 1. So the odds are going down season on season, but they still expect us to finish 14th, which is, I think, very, very disrespectful. But there we go. That's all we can do, isn't it? That's all we can do. Obviously, we go into the Champions League at the group stage, so we may have some money to spend in January. I've still got 15 million. There just wasn't anybody who I wanted to buy, really, guys. I didn't really think there was anyone that was worth buying for me to go in and actually make a change, so I didn't. So I'm going to save it, and maybe we make some purchases in January to strengthen things. But again, as I mentioned last season, I think performing in Europe is probably going to cost us in the league this season. But here we go, 5th and final season, last time. I'll be back in a sec. Okay then, guys, so we are back. It is the end of the 5th season, and the Champions League and that contribution in European football really has cost us, hasn't it? So let's start from right to left. We went out in the Super Cup in the semi-finals. We were defeated by Real Madrid relatively comprehensively, going down 3-0 in Jeddah, which is relatively disappointing, but not exactly unexpected. Knocked down the 4th round of the Super Cup, not the Super Cup, sorry, the Spanish Cup, the Copa del Rey, by Atleti. Again, it's kind of expected. They are a much bigger club than we are, so it kind of is expected there. Knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Europa League by Real Sociedad, which is really disappointing. 6-3 on aggregate, getting the job done. They still do have some really good players, though. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 is just perfection. If you ask me, I think he's just brilliant. I think he's a fantastic little player. Maybe. I think 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 was a very, very good player. So we just have to see what happens moving forward. And then this is our journey. So we had a Champions League group of horrendousness. We were in the Champions League group with Man City and Bayern. They obviously go through. We dropped into the Europa League and progressed up to the quarterfinal stage where we were knocked out. And this contribution in European football has cost us in the league, because we did finish 15th with a -7 goal difference. It's kind of where we were in and around where we were expected to finish, but things definitely went a little bit worse for us this year than they have done in previous years. 10 victories, 10 draws, 18 losses. It's probably our worst season since being in La Liga, I would like to say. So we finished on, what is that, 40 points. So in our first season back, we finished on 41 points. So yes, this is our worst season in La Liga, season number 5. It's no real surprise that European competition really does damage things. So you'd like to think if we were to do another season, I'm not going to, if we were to do another season, we'd be in a very nice place, having got all the Champions League money. As you can see, £20 million transfer budget if we were to continue, £62 million in the club bank balance. We have no debts, which is fantastic. I also will have to say this has sorted itself out now. We did actually have a youth intake. Let me show you. We did have a youth intake. I signed youth players. I'm sure I did. Oh, so some of the other ones have come back. So from what would have been other youth intakes, as you can see here, this goalkeeper who's 20 years of age has come into my youth setup somehow. I don't know what's happened, but it looks like the youth intake seems to have sorted themselves out, because I know a lot of you guys have asked about having these saves. They are being put each week after each save and each upload. They are being put into my Discord for you guys to pick up the saves yourself. So please do jump in the Discord. It's in a link at the top of the description, and you can play this save from this point onwards. I know people are very interested in doing that, especially some of the ways I leave some of these clubs. They are set up for a nice run moving forward, especially if you are a fan of this club and you don't want to play 5 years into the future, and in a lot of these instances fix a lot of the financial problems. That wasn't the case with Malaga, but I think they're in a very good spot to move things forward. But that is where I'm going to leave things for today, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like on it down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I'll see you on another one very, very soon.